Hello, it's good to join you once again. Today I would like to talk about sales and marketing techniques in regards to our jobs and our day-to-day activities. You and I agree, sales is a daily activity in which we engage in one way or another. You're either promoting a product, a service, or trying to influence a person to your side. In this regard, sales and marketing skills are essential skills for us, especially professionals. Now, there's a difference between sales and marketing. When we talk of sales, we are talking about the direct, outright appeal to go and sell a product or a service with a target. There's a target to what you're trying to sell. While marketing is a long-term initiative. You can always market your product and services over time without any intended specific target. So, how do we enhance our sales and marketing skills? Number one, it is good to understand your target audience. Whatever it is you're trying to sell or market, who is it intended for? What are their attributes? What are their personas? What product or service are you trying to proposition? Is it authentic? Is it of good quality? Is it durable? Can you vouch for it? Have you tried the product yourself? Have you tried the service yourself? Because there's nothing as good as selling or marketing a product or service based on experience, and you can vouch for it, and actually you can be able to go back and be able to make changes according to your personal use and of course according to the reactions from the intended market. When you embark on selling a product or service, you have to work with an outcome in mind. For sales, if you have a target, you have to know how you're going to create awareness of your product or service in the market. So creating awareness is the first step. How are you going to create the awareness? When are you going to create the awareness? Who are you going to create the awareness to? Is it young people? Is it old people? What is the demographic? Where do they live? And have they used similar products and services before? That is awareness. And who are your competitors? Who sells the same products and services as you? Remember, it is good to be competitive. It is good to be aware of your competitor. But your sole mission should not be to go and compete against the other. Your sole mission should be to go and show the uniqueness and the distinction that your product and service offers as opposed to others. And your target should not really be to immediately win over a customer from the competitor. It should be over time, and you should win a customer based on the authenticity of your product or service. So, after you set out to establish awareness, who or what are you intending to sell? Do we know what it does? Do we know the use? Do we know the features? Do we know the products? And you should also be aware which channel will work for who. Is it social media? Is it face-to-face? Is it broadcasting channels like the TV or radio? How do you intend to pass the message across? Then there's also, after creating awareness, you also have to create an interest. So how do you create an interest? You create an interest after establishing What are the needs of your intended customer? This is quite an important stage, establishing the needs so that you can be able to align the product or service to the needs of the customer. Very important. And it actually shows interest. It does not show desperation. There's nothing as bad as showing desperation when you're trying to sell or market a product or service. So you establish interest by probably propositioning it like the long-term benefit. If it's a loan, what is the future prospect? How do I see myself in 5 years' time, in 3 years' time? What are the long-term benefits? What changes will it make to my life if I go ahead and take up your product or service? What is the interest? Create an interest so that when I go, even if I don't buy or purchase your product, I keep on thinking of, I see, you've created an interest in me. Then after creating an interest, you establish a desire. Based on my reaction, based on my feedback, you can be able to tell whether I am warming up or whether this product or service actually suits me. At this time, timing is also an aspect of sales and marketing. Timing. I may not need the product right now, but probably later on. And based on how you've approached me, based on your approach, I can be able to refer your product or service to somebody else who needs it. So there's no wrong sell. There's no failed sell. It may not work at this time, but later on, it may work. I may need your product or service later on. So you establish a desire by coming now and propositioning to me and telling me, Madam Beatrice, based on your needs and based on what we have, we think this may actually work for your family, may work for you, may give you a good future based on your product and service. You create a desire. And also, you also be a bit smart by creating a desire. You say, it is within this time and time frame, making it sound urgent. You also have to be a bit strategic, making it seem a bit urgent. That's why you create a desire. Like, a way of creating a desire is saying, like, if you're selling dresses, there are only 3 of the same dresses available, either in Mombasa, Kisumu, Nairobi. That's why it's good to sit down and analyze, sit down and do a good diligence of your product and services. Read widely. What do the competitors have that you don't? What do you have that the competitors don't have? And you do a matching. You just don't go blindly to start doing sales and marketing. You research. Then the final stage is actually actioning. And you have to be bold. At some point when you've been courting a prospect, you have to seal the deal. You have to come to a close. And you can do this through suggestions. Because we have different type of buyers. There are buyers who just are waiting for you to give them the push. There are buyers who actually know what they want when they want. You have to keep the engagement. Even if you're not calling to close, you can just call to find out how you're doing. Can I send you probably a proposal for you to look at? Be proactive in the sales engagement. Use your emotions and logic, balance them out. Do not force, do not sound desperate, do not look desperate. Be calm, be confident with the end goal in mind. Do not take rejections personally. Overcoming objections. Overcoming objections is actually a good way of learning to become a good salesperson. Objections are part of the sales process. And if you've been in sales for long, you know that the people who object the greatest are normally the greatest customer. Just because I say no now, it doesn't mean there's no opportunity for me. Based on how you will handle my objection, I'll be able to look out for you later on. So close the business. Now say, propose, Madam Beatrice, what form of payment would you like us to use? That is preempting me to know that you are talking about closing. Do not just continue. There's also a time frame, especially when you're working. You have to come to a close one way or another. And there's a cold and hot sale. Don't let a hot lead become a cold lead over time because of time. Strike when the iron is hot. Learn the different types of customers. There are some who make decisions fast. There are some who make decisions over time, depending on their buying personas. Referrals are great. I may not be able to indulge in your product or service at the moment, but I can give you a referral. And guess what? People buy people. Before I buy your product or service, how do you look? How do you present yourself to me? Can I buy you first before I buy your product and service? Are you packaged well? Because facial impressions, first impression matters. If I see you not put together, even if you're carrying a portfolio, a file, your packaging, how you're dressed, how you smell, how you look, it gives me the impression of what I'm going to buy. It's an indicator. It's actually a brand. You're a walking brand. Whatever you're proposing to sell, we see it in you first. So, remember, marketing is over a long time. Marketing always goes on. Sales is more direct. Sales is I have to close the numbers. I have to bring in the people. I have to sell. And I just want to say this. When you're doing your sales, your sales and marketing, remember to follow up with a customer. Even after you close the sale, keep the engagement going on. Keep the leads fresh. And at the back of your mind, remember you have to convert. Conversion is the game. You cannot be selling and marketing forever. Ching has to be there. There has to be at least some money. So, all the best as you engage in sales and marketing. Stay tuned for the next conversation. Have a good day.